Good morning, everybody. Today is December 8th, 2018, and kind of out of the blue, I've come up to this particular area. Yes, I got my tent underneath that shelter because the tables weren't there, and I just figured good spot for it. But anyway, I am out here today, well, this weekend, with the Arizona Tundra group, and we're in a place in the Sierra Anches, Reynolds Creek campground. And as you can see, I only got one other person in here right now. Don't know if anybody else is going to come up, but this is where we are. And yeah, a little bit of a fire. It's a little cold out. I don't know if you can see that. That's frozen. All the condensation's frozen solid on the table, so probably about 30 degrees outside. And the sun's starting to peak up, so life is good. But yeah, this sorry about that. I was looking more. But anyway, grab my coffee and I'm gonna walk over this way. I'm not in the exact area that Mitch Wright used to work. Wright, however you say his last name. I never did get the opportunity to meet Mitch. But watched a lot of his videos. And so, a lot of what I do out here is kind of partially based on what he did, and part of my own thing, and a lot of it's my own thing from learning from experience. But habituating, that's the important part. Being in the same place, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And that's kind of when the magical stuff happens. And stay. Coffee cup sliding on the ice on this table. And we cannot have a coffee disaster this early in the morning. I'm going to walk over here. This fence line right here is the boundary. Everything on that side of the fence is wilderness area. And I'm going to try and zoom in on this. There's a nice little hide structure. Now, I haven't been over there to see if there's any tool marks on it or anything. But, if it is a little hide structure, it's a perfect spot to sit and observe this campsite. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's what it is, because I haven't been over there to look at it yet. All right, now let me tell you about last night and this morning. And this is where it gets pretty cool. Trying to think. Started. Well, he went to sleep at about 8 o'clock, 8:30, and I came back over to my camp area, and at 8:40 I started the audio recorder, and about 45 minutes later I went to bed. Before I went to bed, off in this direction where I'm at, okay, let me rotate back around. That's my camp. And off over in this direction somewhere, I'm not lined up exactly how I was last night, but I did see some twinkle lights. I could hear movement. And I had, come back around here. I had 3 very, very, very mild zaps. You know, the ones that are kind of like, hey, hello, we're here. So I can pretty confidently say that, they were here last night. And so I got woke up this morning at 6 o'clock. And mind you, it's still pitch dark out here. Let's see, I'll give you an idea right now. It's 20 minutes to 9. And the sun has been up an hour. So it was still plenty nighttime, plenty dark out. And I was having a dream that I had a Squatch messing with me, and he was wanting me to follow him or something. I don't really remember, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. I just remembered that I was having this dream and with the Squatch in it, and something about following him. And I woke up to wah, almost sounded like a deer, but it wasn't a deer. It was a lot, well, I won't say a lot different, but it was different enough that I know it wasn't a deer. I know it wasn't an elk. I know it wasn't a bear. I know it wasn't a fox. I know it wasn't a coyote. But it was doing that. And then there was a ho, 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 ho. But it was too big for an owl. And then the other hooting and hollering started. And then the owl, and then another owl, and then more hooting and hollering. And what it sounded like, I probably got that sun right in that, don't I? Oops. But what it sounded like to me was 4, maybe 5. And for all you unbelievers out there, unknown entities out in the forest making noises. No, I know it was them. It wasn't owls. It wasn't deer. It wasn't. I mean, I got this on the audio, and I don't know what I just heard, but I got it on audio, and when the who or the was started, that lasted for about 4 minutes, and then there was a break for about 5 minutes, and then the wahs started back up, and the hoo hoo ho ho, a ho 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 ho, ho hoo ho ho. It was like that, and there was 4 or 5 different individuals calling back and forth to each other, and moving around, from, I would say they were up on that hill and over here and over that direction. So it was like 3, maybe 4 different areas, but you could definitely tell, especially on the audio, that there's at least 4, I'm guessing 5 different individuals making noise. So see how cold it is? Cigarette won't stay lit. Not that cold, I just didn't get it lit. But what the hell was I gonna say? Oh, it's pretty typical Squatch behavior. Now the 2 family groups that I deal with up in Squatch camp and the other area is their personalities are different and they kind of do different stuff, but they all pretty much behave the same way, as do the ones here. I'm a good friend of mine, Chuck, if you're watching, hey bud. He actually came up here to where Mitch was, found Mitch, and actually hung out and talked with him for a while. And it's I'm not far from that spot. If you've seen the Finding Bigfoot show, I think it's season 2, where they were in Payson, Arizona, and one of the things that they did when they were here in Arizona, after the town hall meeting, they came out here with Mitch to his site, but he has video of a juvenile coming into camp and getting into his ice chest and leaving. He's got it on I think it was a night vision camera. It would seem that it would have had to been, because it's just so dark out here. So that's what they showed on the Finding Bigfoot show, and I am not that far from that location. And if you could, where I'm at is kind of down in a valley / bowl. I got high mountains all the way around me, heavily forested pine. I'm actually surprised to see so much pine in here, because a lot of the area around here got nuked in a couple of forest fires. And this area is pretty good. So, I think the area where Mitch was at got wiped out from the last big forest fire that came through here. I don't know if I'm had an interaction with the same ones he's been interacting with. But nevertheless, tonight's going to be interesting, and see how late I can sit out until I start freezing to death. I'm doing things a little different, just doing the regular camping thing here. So we're having campfires, as you saw, and so I'm kind of half camping, half squatching on this. But you can just see how thick it is in here. I'm not going to be out doing a whole lot of walking around. The last trip up at Squatch Camp, I kind of dangled the knee a little bit, but now I know what happened, and I've got a 1.1 centimeter piece of bone floating around inside my knee, stemming back to an injury from Operation Desert Storm. But Yeah, so I'll be looking at a surgery sometime after the first of the year, which is fine. So give me time to get healed up and ready to attack the season this next spring. But I like this spot in here. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Sorry, just playing with this. But so I am going to sign out, finish my coffee, and we'll walk down to the creek and take a look down there and see how that looks. We will talk to you later. Peace out.